has the pandemic changed Canadian politics?
Yes, people are not getting out to vote as much. Look at the last election, small turnout. Attitude toward politicians. The pandemic is a once-in-a-lifetime thing that's hard to beat. There was no one way to fix it, get it right. So no matter what decision or path you make, you're going to get criticized by the opposition. We could have done better. It's, I don't know, we do need some more tools in the tool chest. But with the pandemic subsiding and becoming a part of our normal routine, I think politics will go back to normal, to what it was.
Absolutely. I think, well, politics, from a public perspective, I think that people are so much more divided than they really were before.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for anything to happen in the world now without it becoming a political issue and for someone to try to leverage it based on political gain. And I think a lot of the decisions that Trudeau has made has been, to reinforce his own power and control over things, and especially you can see that with an example of using the Emergencies Act, like absolutely overkill use of power.
Yes, I think so. I think there were some very difficult decisions that had to be made in very short time, and unfortunately some of these decisions are inevitably not popular with some. I think that the current government is going to have to take a couple of shots, even because a lot of people can't recognize that some tough decisions had to be made.
Yes, I think it's viewed on a wider scope. Definitely we have to look at global impacts of things, and I think more people are forced to be aware of Canadian politics. They're at home, closer to their screens and social media and such. So there's a greater awareness. Now, I'm hoping that translates to a greater involvement, but that's yet to be seen, I guess.
I think there's more of a divide than there was before between the Conservatives, the Liberals, the anti-vaxxers, the pro-vaxxers. It's definitely, I think, divided the country a little bit, not for the best. You see the rallies, the protests, and this and that. And yeah, I think it's divided the country a little bit, yeah.
My opinion, and I know I share this with a lot of people, is that all politicians have hidden agendas. They all make false promises to get voted in, and then they drop the ball. So is it really a right person to vote for? In my opinion, no.
I believe it has. A lot of people have a lot more opinions on Canadian politics. A lot of people have now been, educating themselves more about, who to vote for or who's doing the right thing for the Canadian economy and for the Canadian people. So yeah, it's been a huge debate probably for everyone.
I think it has changed politics, as there's people that are to the far right, people to the far left, and you have to find a balance in between. You can't think that COVID doesn't exist. I've seen it personally, my whole family got it, and you can't say it's going to affect my life. You still have to go on living. So you have to find a balance.
It did change in other ways, especially I think when we were confined to places and we had so many restrictions on our, movement, liberties, and so on. I think that we did reconsider how we think about the politics now and who should we vote and elect, So I think it did affect the way we think about that.
Can't really say. I know it's changed life, like the way we do things. I don't know through politics, though, if it's changed it that much.
I mean, everybody talks about divisiveness and, people now are, online saying things you wouldn't say you and I in person. It makes me feel that people are more divisive and more, scared of each other. Just scared.
I just don't think that Justin Trudeau's involved at all with the people. He hasn't got a clue what the people want. He doesn't know what it costs to live. It's just ridiculous.
Absolutely it has. I think that coupled with the recent things and elections that were won in the States over the last 8 years have definitely changed Canadian politics. People have been spending a lot of time at home absorbing different sorts of media and have been emboldened to voice their opinions on certain matters. And I'd like to say it's all good, but some of it's worrying as well.
I think so. Maybe the politicians are a little bit more distant or not as much actual exchange with maybe their constituents, their voters and things like that. So I think so. I think so in a big way. I know my life's changed, you know, so I would think that maybe the politicians, I'm not happy with what's going on in Ottawa, so I'll leave it at that.